Didn't have the best start. I mean, I did not come from a rich family, did not have a lot of skills to begin with. I really wanted, like you mentioned, to have purpose. No, not really profit or money per se, but I wanted to help people.
And we can't blame Filipinos. You know why? Filipinos have experienced so many scams. Looking at it as a finance person, it's so easy to scam in the Philippines, man, because Filipinos, they don't have the opportunity that we have here in Singapore.
Yes, we have a corruption problem because of voted officials, but we also have a corruption problem because Filipinos are allergic to change.
Oof. Singapore has a different set of values. And I feel that the value that you're talking about is, bro.
Hey, bro, Rico.
Great to finally have you here.
Yes, excited to be here.
We've been actively working together for actually more than 5 months, not ever since the start of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, we should do this more often.
But yes, bro, thank you for being here. Great to finally have you. So, ikaw kasi, malupit ka, idol kita eh. You know? Idol kita. Kasi, you see, you've built this global marketing agency and you work with international clients. And at the same time, you've stayed grounded in your purpose. And purpose is something that we always talk about, especially when we talk about with our friends, so Silla Dexter and all that. But tell us more about your story, man. Recently, you posted a photo of you back then, like 11, 12 years ago. Picture mo sa ni Ses. And there's another picture of you guys now. So how
Mm.
was it? Who was Patrick back then, bro? Who was Patrick back then? How was life back in those days?
Alam mo, nakakatawa, bro, kasi yung comment, and you also made the same comment, is pretty much the same. Dati pa, maganda na si Ces, pero ikaw pangit talaga. No, what kidding aside, though, I mean, yeah, I mean, if I look back, the reason why I like posting content like that, no, is because ang layo talaga, 'di ba? And I say that because I didn't have the best start. I mean, I did not come from a rich family, did not have a lot of skills to begin with. I was very motivated, I was very driven, but I was not good at like a lot of things. But yeah, I guess like siguro if you look at me 12 years ago, one thing that was very clear from the beginning was I really wanted, like you mentioned, to have purpose. No, not really profit or money per se, but I wanted to help people. I wanted to find something that I could pursue na that can make my life better, but also at the same time, of course, make my family's life better, but also make other people's lives better. And so I started actually pretty early on. I dropped out of college. I tried few different businesses. Some of them worked, some of them did not. But eventually, parang what I really landed on was digital marketing. And when I got into that, like I just fell in love with it right away. Not because it was hype, because I actually started digital marketing before it became like a major like movement, no, ngayon na parang digital marketers have like the lifestyle, they have the income and all of that. I started when it was just coming up, but I liked it because I was able to take messages that matter ng mga clients namin and then use digital platforms to share that message to other people. So from the very beginning, we were very clear that we want to work with clients na meron talagang they have an idea, they have a product, they have a service that can really give positive impact to people's lives. And so I guess that's really how it started. So I actually started as a freelancer. Says also, my wife, started as a freelancer. And then I think around 2021, we decided, why don't we just team up and then come up with a business? The truth of the matter is, we actually did that not because we wanted to grow the business, but we did that actually as a way for us to cross borders. Kasi during the pandemic, this was the time of the lockdowns. Uh, you could not cross if walang official business. And so we registered the business so that we could cross back to our hometown because we live in a different city from our way away from our family. So yun actually yung pinaka-reason talaga. Pero it's so funny how life, no, puts these challenges before you. And then, without knowing it, all of a sudden, serendipitously, it becomes an open door for you to build something that changes your life forever. So I guess like if you look at it, no, like a lot of the things that happened to us was I wouldn't say accidental, but it was very unexpected. I never thought to myself that I want to be rich. I never thought to myself that I want to be a businessman. I just wanted to do something that was meaningful. And I guess like in some point, I realized that yun naman talaga eh. If you want to do something that adds value to people, everything else will just follow. And so I guess like yeah, I mean like in a nutshell, that's what that picture was also about. Like sharing to people how we got from this to that, and then also sharing as well a little bit of financial principles that helped us to get from point A to point B, because we want to other people to also experience the same. We want other people to realize that hindi, kahit hindi mayaman yung parents mo, maganda yung background mo, you can get ahead. Again, it's that concept of really just trying to add value to other people, and that's really just opened a lot of doors for us.
I agree with that, bro. Whenever I look at your social media, especially when you post before and after, besides the fact na nare-realize ko talagang pangit ka na talaga since before. Joking. I put myself in the eyes of your viewers. Okay? There's only two possible thoughts that a viewer can have when they look at your social media. It could be, wow, anyabang naman ito, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Number two, nakaka-motivate.
Mm.
How did he achieve it? How did he come from point A to point B? Diba? And there's another thing that I I resonate with what you said is you mentioned that for every challenges that you experience, it opens a lot more opportunities to to achieve greatness, right? Succeed in businesses, meet new people, motivation also. Yeah, which I can understand, man. I mean, I grew up here in Singapore, and I mean, I wouldn't say that we didn't have much, all right, because I'm quite fortunate that my parents managed to bring us here, but we also came from different struggles as well. As I grew up, my dad slowly shared more secrets to me, or he shared more experiences with me, and one of them is that they actually had a loan of more than 100,000 SGD just to
Wow.
have the whole family set here.
Wow.
And yeah, man. And he told me this when we were in Bali nung birthday niya. You see, and I was like, wow, my goodness, the sacrifice that my father had to go through, that he had to do para mapaganda yung buhay ng mga anak niya. And I believe that for us, we're the same because we're both, we both have our own children and all that. But you see, bro, pangalan ng company mo is Block 10 Strategy. And you have a lot of clients sa Philippines, now worldwide. Um, during this during this whole period, bro, what is one biggest lesson that you still keep in your heart up till this day?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Les and I talk about this a lot, no? I think that the story of Block 10 really, it's if I can really, obviously there's a lot, no? But like if I really wanted to just focus on one that I want people to take away, because like even the name Block 10, bro, means nothing. Maganda lang pakinggan. People always say, ang catchy ng pangalan. Like, what's the meaning? Block 10, literally, is just the block of our property in Iloilo. So, parang kasi yun yung address. So, Block 10, First Avenue. So, ayoko na mag-isip, no? So, but I think, like, there was this one guy basically who we work with. He's based in France, so he's like one of our clients na international. He was telling us basically that that story, because I told him that story. He said, "I really like your name. What's it about?" It's like, well, it's just the address of our house, and he told me something. That's the reason why I like working with you and Ses and your entire team, because you don't really care about your image. You don't really care about how you look. You just want to deliver results, and that's probably something that it really stuck with me, because parang when I heard that, parang light bulb moment nga na parang, oh nga no, why is it like that? Because in our industry kasi bro, especially in the Philippines, yung mga agency owners, it's a lot of flexing, it's a lot of fake it till you make it, uh, paying for, I kid you not, like there are agencies who pay to be on the top 10 up, up and coming businesses, binabayaran just so that they can make it appear like there's somebody. And from day zero, we didn't want to appear to be like somebody. If anything, we wanted to put all of our effort into making our clients the hero of the story. And so, like one concept no that I really held on to is something that I later on coined the Rafiki effect. 'Di ba? Yung naalala mo ba bro, yung mga generation natin, we experienced Lion King. Yun talaga childhood natin, all of a sudden boom, Disney put out Lion King. Lahat tayo we were obsessed with Lion King. Pero yung nakakatawa kasi, when I was growing up, all of my cousins, all of my friends, when we watched Lion King, we role-played Lion King, everyone wanted to be Simba. Gusto ko ako yung hero. Ako yung bida. Ako I'm the center of the story. And everyone was fighting over becoming Simba. Ako naman si Simba. Last time, ikaw si Simba. 'Di ba? While ako, in the background, parang chill lang ako. Sige, bahala kayo kung sino yung magiging Simba. Basta ako, I wanna be Rafiki. Yung shaman na, o yung unggoy, exactly. And the reason, I was probably like 6, 7 years old during this time. No? Pero I kid you not, my parents like even confirmed na ganito ka mag-isip. Yung mentality ko kasi that time was if walang Rafiki, walang Simba. So I wanted to be, because he was the one who guided Simba to, this is who your father was. He was the wise, diba? And like if you look at the heroes of every story, both in fiction and non-fiction, merong ganun. Si Luke Skywalker had Yoda, diba? And so I wanted to be the Rafiki. I wanted to be the Yoda, where I could help other people succeed. And so that's really the philosophy of Black 10 strategy. Yung pinaka na talaga namin is kung sino yung clients natin, let's make them the hero of the story. And I mean, yes, you don't have the limelight. Yes, you don't have the awards. Sometimes people don't even know who you are. But nakaka-proud lang when you see your clients, becoming bigger on social media, they're growing their business. That's really the and I think like if you want to get ahead in business, dapat ganun yung
Yeah,
mentality mo.
you gotta think of what value you can provide to your clients.
Exactly.
I can resonate. I on the side I do train boxers, young boxers, and in 2021 I think, I was coaching a team dito sa Singapore, and I sent them for fights, and then I taught them how to, those tactics, techniques, how do you dodge, how do you slip, how do you block, and all that. And when I saw them succeed, and then they managed to beat their opponents, diba? The feeling is, wow,
Mm.
I did that. I
Yeah.
did that. I'm part of this process, and I feel the same way with my clients sa finance naman.
Yeah.
When I see their accounts growing, when I see that I mean, there's no guarantees in investments, and I carry the responsibility into helping my clients choose, where where their investments should go. S&P 500 ba? Should we try China? Should we try Japan, Nikkei Index, yung mga ganon, 'di ba? Should we focus on tech? Sinong fund manager yung reliable to manage our funds? That kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And when I see that my clients are growing in terms of their investments, it gives me that feeling na wow, finally there's a change, because every client may have different experiences when it comes to investments or any services that anywhere else where that provides the same services I do. They could have a different experience, and I like it when I give them a different experience na mas positive. And you're right about that. Now, value, it's all about value when to succeed in business rather than chasing like the money, the income. It's part of that, right? We have talents, we have skills. You're good with marketing, I'm good at reading charts and doing finance and stuff. But I think it's only fair that we turn it into a business also to provide value to your clients. And I think that is what entrepreneurship is, bro. That is what entrepreneurship is. You find your talent, you find where you're good at, and then you help people for business, you see. Now, nitong during this time na binibuild mo itong Block 10 strategy, right? At which point did you feel the biggest breakthrough? Ano, is it one particular client who became viral, or is it a client who did a lot of sales and marketing? Tell me
Yeah.
which part.
That definitely, when we started seeing our clients actually get results, that's one. But like, on top of that, siguro, like the one that really I always remember is when we started building the team already. Kasi nung simula, Black 10 was just me and Ses, and we were just sharing clients. So si Ses yung gagawa ng graphics, ako yung susulat ng content, 'di ba? And then so we were just passing projects na ako yung gagawa ng website, and then she will come up with the campaign to draw traffic to that website. And then in 2022, I think, like a year after we registered, uh, the story was, we had a friend essentially who needed like a part-time job. So naghahanap ng side hustle. So single mom, good friend of ours, came to us and said, baka may, someone who's hiring, 'di ba? And parang I just nag-usap lang kami ni Ses. We were having coffee. And then we kind of like agreed na tulungan natin to. 'Di ba? Let's give her an opportunity. We didn't pay her like very big because we didn't really have a lot of income yet that time. I think at that point we were just crossing the 6 digits a month revenue in peso. So, I mean, it's comfortable, pero we can't really afford to pay for like a full-time salary yet. Pero sabi lang namin na we want to help you out. What if you work 10 hours a week for us? We'll pay you this amount. Pumayag. And yung mindset namin is tulong to, 'di ba? So, let's not expect anything kasi our goal lang naman talaga is to help. Pero, after like a month or two of onboarding that friend of ours, her name was Jen, no? So we onboarded Jen. We really saw the exponential growth ng business because all of a sudden, I could delegate the tasks that were time consuming, and I could focus on the more important things like looking for more clients, coming up with strategies for them, uh, making sure that the content is really good. Tapos si Jen can take care of all the admin stuff, replying to comments, scheduling the content, posting it, 'di ba? So it really freed us up also time-wise. And then when we started doing that, we started realizing, hindi pwede na tayo lang. And that's when Block 10 strategy started to become a team. Naging team effort. We took in writers, we took in graphic designers. And at that moment, also at the same time, it was again an opportunity for me to, like, I realized na now I don't have to be the expert. And I want to work with Black 10 kasi magaling si Patrick, magaling si Ces. We were no longer like the experts. Now we have people working with us because ang galing ng team. And we're nakaka-proud talaga when people tell us that na ang galing ng team nyo. Even if kami mismo minsan hindi namin alam kung anong ginagawa nila na, uy, ganda ng post na to. Talaga? Hindi ko nakita yun. Okay, it's okay. Basta yung team magaling. Yeah, but I if that's another lesson I think I learned from Black then over the years, no, na if you build other people up, ka maiiwan. Kasi yung fear kasi natin normally is na, ay, baka mas gagaling pa yan sa akin. That
Yes,
person
yes.
will, diba, will overshadow me. Filipinos kasi bro, I hate to say it, no, baka mabash ako nito. Ang lakas kasi ng crab mentality.
Yeah.
Diba? I mean, and I had a really interesting conversation with one of my coaching clients last night. Nag-usap kami. And we were talking about that, the crab mentality. Kasi he came up with like this parang talk din. He was talking about, the Filipino traits that have really held us back from success. And then yung number one talaga is yung crab mentality. And ang interesting ng shinare kasi that really started during the Spanish colonization. Bakit? Kasi that time, the way that the Spaniards would control us is they would pit us against each other. Sumbong mo kapag ito yung kapitbahay mo may armas pala. Sumbong mo sa so they would pit us against each other. And so we've
Anong
carried
tawag doon? Is that what they call aliping sa gigilid? Ayun ba yun? Is that
parang ganun. Yeah.
I remember that back in elementary school in the Philippines.
Right,
Okay,
exactly.
okay.
So yung strategy doon is let them make sure that they don't trust each other. Tapos make them pull each other down, 'di ba?
So we brought it all over here sa panahon ngayon, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Filipinos, I mean, I've seen it before, Filipinos tend to, compete against each other rather than actually collaborating. And to me, there's a few factors why Filipinos do that. Because we are still, we actually, bro, I only see this amongst people who are not yet successful. I may be
True.
wrong, but most of the
Yeah.
time I see this kind of competition from people who are not yet successful. And that is because of a scarcity mindset, right? When you have when your commodities is scarce, you tend to keep it you tend to want to just keep it to yourself, rather than sharing it, because the world is so big and there's so many opportunities, right? Now, those people who are already successful, they seem to collaborate more with each other because they are not insecure of losing their clients, losing their business, because he knows that my partner, who is the other person, is already rich, and he has no reason or monetary reason to maybe stab you in the back, right? Per se. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, man. That's why I like working and speaking to people who are in the high net worth space, because you learn a lot from them, and the way they think is so different from the masses, right? There's something that I realize. Bro, let's I want to shift gears a bit, bro, because aside from being an entrepreneur and a business person, you recently came here to Singapore, bro. And
Yes.
hindi lang siya para to enjoy, diba? To bring the family over. But something that is strategic then. You came here to start your investment portfolio. And I find that interesting, bro. During your visit here, we had some conversations, and you told me the reason why you decided to invest in Singapore when you could have done it in the Philippines. So I want to ask you again so people can hear it. Why Singapore, bro? Why Singapore? What was running through your mind when you decided to, hey, I'm going to go to Singapore and start my investment journey in there?
Yeah. So there are two reasons. I think the one is the obvious one, and then the other one is the not so obvious one. The obvious one is look at the Singapore and the Philippines, and you see that mayaman tong you know tong country, technically Singapore is a country. Yeah, so mayaman tong country na kahit maliit, kahit walang resources. Because obviously they're doing something right. The taxation is a lot better because you don't get taxed on like the yields that you have. That's the first
Capital
thing.
gains, capital gains.
Right, exactly. And then ngayon sa Pilipinas, yung interest income, it's always been naman talaga. Hindi ngayon lang talaga na exposed na 20% pala yung interest income tax. So parang you're getting taxed from growing your money. And for me, that was like, kaya pa lang na yung mga Pinoy ayaw mag-invest because parang pinaparusahan ka kapag nag-i-invest ka. You know, I mean, that's kind of just like the way that personally I saw it. And you know, I've been investing for quite a while. I've invested in the PSE. I've invested in mutual funds. Pare, grabe. I hate to say it, no, pero I've had an investment in the PSE, different stocks already for 2018, 7 years now. And it's not grown one single centavo. May times pa nga na down eh. I mean, and I've invested in blue chip stocks. Diba?
Blue chip pa yun.
Blue chip pa yun. Diba? Pero the truth of the matter is, why is it that? And especially now, I mean, as we're recording this, na yung mga corruption scandal na lumalabas ngayon sa Pilipinas. And so, the last 13 years of gains from the PSE has been wiped out. Back to 13 years ago, yung value ng PSE. At its peak, nag-peak yung PSE 2018, 9,000. Ngayon, 5,000. Diba? So, that's an obvious reason. The not so obvious reason is I realized talaga, and it's kind of connected to the first reason, is iba yung values ng Singapore. And that trickles down to everything from the way that the government operates, the way that you do business, the way that you handle family, the way that you think about the kind of life that you want to live. Like, I don't know if you know this, bro, but like in Singapore now, it's very interesting to me. Singapore is actually the healthiest country in the world. It overtook Japan for the first time. 2024 statistic, I just saw it, I think, like 2 days ago. I mean, like, that's interesting to me because parang Singaporeans, in general, of course, not everyone, but like in general, they really want to have the best life possible. But the difference is, kasi lahat naman talaga na, I mean, I don't think I've ever met anyone who said, I want the worst life possible. Wala namang ganun, di ba? But Singaporeans kasi, they start to embrace values that help them to do that. Even if it means having to unlearn values that might not serve you. So, like, diba, going back to the glow up before and after picture, the Patrick Mabilog back then had a lot of values that were not serving him. Kasi nga, I came from not so, I mean, you know, naman yung upbringing ko, like, my parents were very, but bata eh. So, obviously, you have some beliefs na hindi pala helpful. So, like, limiting belief, I was very insecure. I did not think at all, okay, like, you know, that I have to get ahead in life. And then I married someone na ang taas pala ng standard. Sabi ko, if I really want this woman, then I also have to step up. Alam mo yun? And then we had children, and yung children ko, grabe yung mga taste ng mga anak namin. Texa at the age of 3, parang he will tell us na I wanna go get a drink. I was like, okay, sure, no problem. Kala mo, Jollibee, alam mo yun, parang thirsty. Hindi, what do you want? I want fresh milk in Starbucks. Sabi ko, pambihira. Bili na tayo ng Bear Brand, di ba? Hindi, ayaw.
Dati Bear Brand, titimplahin pa natin yun. Puro sugar pa.
Yeah. Hindi, gusto niya talaga fresh milk from Starbucks kasi iba daw yung lasa. But no, like, but I guess, like, in retrospect, when I looked at that, that really forced me to parang question what's holding me back. And a lot of the things that were holding me back were yung mga values ko dati. Ay, wag kang ganun kasi mahal yun. That's
Oh,
number
again,
one.
scarcity mindset na naman.
Exactly. Scarcity mindset. Wag yan kasi mahal. Wag yung ganung brand kasi may mura. I guess like that's that's the Chinese upbringing in me as well. There's a good side, there's a bad side to it. Pero parang nababalance siya na okay, 'di ba? That obviously you want to give your family the best, but you also want to do it for in a way that's value. So parang namamix siya, 'di ba? But going back basically when I started studying Singapore, what I really noticed was iba yung values. Iba yung values when it comes to investing, when it comes to planning for the future. Kasi, I don't know if you know this, bro. Like, in Singapore, I think the financial independence rate for people 55 and up is, I think, like 56%. Basta higher than 50%. So, more than half of people, hindi pa nakarating ng 60s, they're already financially independent. In the Philippines, it's less than 2%.
Nako, kaya pala ino-oblige ng karamihan ng mga parents, especially, I might get bashed here na, but kaya pala karamihan ng nakakatanda, they oblige their children, which is now the millennials, to para sustentuhan yung lifestyle nila the moment they retire. Kasi they never prepared for it. But one
Right.
thing, bro, about Singapore kasi, probably the reason why Singaporeans so-called are financially independent at age 50, 50 plus, or even 60s is because of CPF. We have this thing called CPF na we have to pay it when we work, and it's compulsory. You gotta pay that, and then that's where your retirement income will be coming from. So basically, even the least financially savvy person here, little does he know it, he's actually preparing for his retirement as well, and the government is, is the one who's handling it, right? That includes also medical insurance. Kahit wala kang private insurance dito, you have Medisave, where your salary gets cut and it's forcefully put into this thing called Medisave. And if any Singaporean was to go to the hospital, you can access that Medisave to pay for your hospital bills. See,
Wow.
yeah, like you said, Singapore has a different set of values, and I feel that the value that you're talking about is being always ready for your future. Tama ba?
Yeah, and I think also at the same time, going back to the point that you made na yung parents obliging children, it's just generational thinking, di ba? And I guess I'm grateful that I had mentors then who challenged me. I remember talaga it was Chinky Tan who I work with before talaga full time. Now I'm kind of like an advisor to his business. He sat me down one time, he told me, alam mo bro, ganito ka simple. And this is Chinky's this is one of the most life-changing lessons he taught me. May 5 levels of wealth. So sabi ko sobrang simple. So is actually get ready bro kasi this is kind of like very technical, no. So simple siya pero technical. Day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade. Ang hirap, 'di ba? Ang hirap dala. It's so simple, 'di ba? Pero like day to day, 'di ba? Isang kahig, isang tuka. 'Yun yung people who are working for income today so that I can cover my expenses today. Week to week is kind of like, yung pa-weekly yung sahod. So, 'di ba? People who might have contractual work or pa-project. Month to month, that's where a lot of people get stuck. Yung 15 at 30. Year to year, you're starting to build already, like plan for your finances like a year ahead. Okay, kailan tayo magbabakasyon? Ano yung dapat kung may gifts tayo na ibibigay sa family natin ng December for Christmas, dapat mga October pa lang. Ganun yung mentality. Yung pinaka highest level of wealth is decade to decade. you're thinking what's gonna happen to us 10 years from now, 20 years from now, pag malaki kids, 'di ba? Who's gonna pay for their wedding? Who's gonna pay for... And I see that in Singapore. And the reason why, you know, may shame factor siya, I guess, na parang I watch the ads kasi of of Singaporean, like, like financial institutions na parang it's kind of like leaving a legacy to your kids. Ikaw yung nagbayad ng wedding ng anak mo, grandchildren, and you get to... I love that kind of perspective of family. Sa Pilipinas, yung sadly, the dynamic of older parents or yung lolo-lola is yung mga anak nag-uusap na nagsasabi na, oh, sa'yo naman sana si daddy kasi ang hirap na, di ba? Yung sabi ni Chinky sa amin, dapat ganito yung mentality mo. Gusto mo, pag
Sa akin na si daddy.
Sa
Akin na
akin
si
na si
daddy
daddy.
kasi siya yung may
Oo.
pera.
Kasi may pera, di ba? Di ba? So, I don't want to be a burden to my children.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be able to achieve what they want to achieve, di ba, yung ma-break yung cycle ng sandwich generation.
Yeah. A lot of Filipinos are in the sandwich generation right now. Even millennials pa din. I have a few clients na millennial. Kaidara natin, bro. But, man, they have children and they are paying for their parents, you know. And I think part of that is, ayun kasi yung kinagisnan minsan eh. Like, you know, how, you remember when we were kids, we were taught to like, hey, when you're older, you know, you got to take care of your parents too, you know. I mean, nothing wrong with that, okay? I would take care of my parents. But the thing is, my parents understand that that's gonna take a toll on me as well. You see? And meron silang, and my parents, personally, wala silang mindset na, oy, may utang na loob sa akin tong bat. Dinala ko siya sa Singapore. They don't have that. And in fact, the fact that I didn't feel pressured by my parents, the more I am enticed or motivated to want to take care of them na, to make life easier. In fact, my parents can retire now, but ayaw pa din, you know, they don't want to do that because, you know, they can still work. They're still stacking up enough, investments to build passive income. But bro, you mentioned that meron kang investment sa Philippine stock, sa PSE index, na that is like since 2017, it's not working out, diba? Do you know that the cumulative returns from 2017 to 2025 sa S&P 500. So index to ng US for those who don't know. S&P 500. Top 500 listed companies in the US stock exchange. Their principal would have grown to 145% already if they did the same, if they made the same investment as you did in PSE. And this is not to bash PSE, all right? This is not to bash the blue chip stocks in the Philippines, but rather, what do you think is the reason why Philippine Stock Exchange is stagnant?
It goes back to ano pa rin eh. I think it's still values. I'm not an expert at the economy of all of it, but like I guess like for one, corruption in the Philippines has been an issue for a very long time. And yes, it's because of, politicians who choose to put more importance on personal gain than serving the public. But I also think at the same time that parang and this is something that I was listening to like an investment banker, Steven Kunyeng, and he was on ANC a few maybe a week back, and I was listening to his interview on ANC, and he was saying that yes, we have a corruption problem because of voted officials, but we also have a corruption problem because Filipinos are allergic to change.
Oof. Tell me more about that.
Because at the end of the day, hindi naman, yes, we have to change the leadership, but we also have to change our personal, like, decision making. Aanin mo naman kung, 'di ba? Like, okay, what are you gonna do if you have a good official there, pero nagtatapon ka ng basura sa kanal? we're still gonna have flood problems. What's it
Mm,
gonna do if you say na we want better roads, pero hindi ka
mm,
nga maka-follow ng stoplight, di
mm.
ba? So it's still
It
going.
goes. I think, bro, it goes back to the fact that if you want your life to change, you don't want to rely on the outside forces. You want to rely on yourself. You gotta make changes. Like you, okay, you mentioned PSE investment. You've been investing your most of your life, and you saw that so financial markets that you were doing the past years, it wasn't growing. It's stagnant. Then what did you do, bro? You risked bringing your money out of the country, going to investing in the Singapore markets, right? And
Mm,
you know why I said it's risk? This could have been
why?
a scam,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of balls to do that, you know.
Yeah, that, but alam mo, nakakatawa yun, bro, because, like, I was talking to this friend of mine who was, like, asking us also about our investment in the Singapore. Tapos parang ganun din, sabi niya, baka scam yun, ano. And I was just kind of, like, quiet because this friend of ours, hindi ko na mabanggit ko sino, got scammed a few years ago. And then the scam basically was, I won't go into the details kasi baka makikinig tas magagalit sa akin. But parang like when I was thinking about it, why is it that Filipinos don't wanna risk outside but we're falling for these scams of like, di ba, yung mga Ponzi schemes, mga I mean, Bitcoin's not a scam, but like there are a lot of
Yeah.
scammers who are using that, di ba? So, what's going on there? Kasi careful ka nga, pero nasa scam ka.
Mm,
I
mm.
think it boils down to two things. Number one is like learning and trying to understand what you're investing in. Is karamihan ng ng mga nakausap ko personally. I mean, again, I don't want to generalize, but like at least in my personal interactions with people who haven't invested yet, the mentality is, I don't want to learn that kasi hindi naman ako finance person. So there's this limiting belief na I don't want to get into that because that's not who I am. Then if that's not who you are, then don't you think it would be beneficial to become the kind of person that can learn that? I mean, it doesn't take a very long time to understand the basics of investing. That's but like I feel like that most of the time it's not really like a competence issue. It's more like fixed mindset pa rin na hindi kasi ako ganun. And so we spend so many years educating ourselves up until college. But by the time we get that diploma, we feel like we don't have to learn anything new anymore. So that's the first thing. The second thing I also see happen a lot is kaya nasa scam din yung mga Pinoy is because understand how to make calculated risks, 'di ba?
Mhm.
Na
Mhm.
parang okay, sige. Matter is invest, I can lose money. I've lost a lot. Aside from PSE, I've lost money here and there. Bumili ako ng NFT during the craze of
Mm.
crypto.
Yeah.
I bought 3 NFTs, and I don't think I'll ever see that investment recoup. I've invested in businesses. I've invested in like different things, not just money, but like also time, effort. But every time I would make an investment, parang konti muna, 'di ba? Test the waters. And then if you see that it's not working, then stop investing or pull
Mm.
out, 'di ba? But kasi I think also at the same time it's this mentality na gusto natin one time big time. Parang yung
Mm.
jackpot mentality na, uy, grabe, pumasok ako dito, nagpasok ako ng 500,000, naging 5 million. Yun yung gusto natin versus na hindi, 'di ba? Dollar cost averaging.
Yeah.
Put in 20,000 pesos a month, or you can even start with 2,000 muna and then slow. Kasi like when I started investing in Call Financial, yung stock market, ganun din, like 'di ba? 1.5
DCA
muna.
din.
Yeah,
DCA.
1.5 a month.
PCA.
Yeah, so peso cost averaging, PCA. So may ganun siya. So uh I think that those are kasi you can't blame Filipinos because we're not taught that.
I watched this video on social media recently, and it's this dog, all right.
Mm.
and this dog was in a cage, diba? And then there was a part of the cage that is lower that the dog can jump over. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, ginawa nila, sinashock nila yung cage so the dog will be electrocuted. So what the dog did was jump over. Okay, he could jump, right? Now, after a few tries, they raised up the cage.
Okay.
So they shocked the dog again. The dog couldn't jump, couldn't jump. And then after that, the dog just endured the electricity, like, oh, he gets shocks. Now they lowered the gates again. When they electrocuted the dog didn't jump, bro. Even when the cage is really low. And I think that Filipinos are like that. And we can't blame Filipinos. You know why? Filipinos have experienced so many scams.
Yeah.
Kasi mga scam dyan, bro, looking at it as a finance person, it's so easy to scam in the Philippines, man, because Filipinos in the Philippines, they don't have the opportunity that we have here in Singapore.
Mm.
The fact that now that it's just a 2-hour flight, or they can even open accounts here without even having to fly. They
Mm.
para sila yung asong na scam na, but ayun na pwede na registered na
Mm.
license na yung kausap mo. They still don't want to jump because of the experience that they had. And this is something that we cannot blame them. And
Yeah.
in fact, we cannot blame anyone. I think it's just a situation of the Filipinos. And it's people like you, bro. It's people like you, entrepreneurs like you who manage to jump off the cage are the ones who are going to motivate the rest of the people in our country. See?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So you yung ginagawa mo dito sa Singapore, ini-invest mo dito is mainly what? S&P 500, di ba?
S&P 500, and
Yeah.
then I recently started very, very recently lang talaga started investing in AI stocks na.
AI, di ba? AI sector yung pinasok natin doon nung time na noon.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah. So,
Nvidia,
yung yung ginagawa mo sa PSA before, I remember you posted something like online, bro, like the kind of returns that you made the past few months that you've been investing here, magkano ulit nilang percent ulit yun?
layo pare. More than 50% already right now.
Yeah. I think natsambahan lang natin yung market, bro, because the
Yeah.
equity market right now is really bulling. It's bullish right now, and part of it siguro is magaling kasi economy ng US ngayon. But the point that I want to make here sa pag-i-invest, bro, it's not about where you invest it. It's not about PSE. It's not about S&P 500. It's not about Nikkei index in Japan. It's not about MSCI World Index global scale, but rather it's the management. The management of funds. You gotta find which investment vehicle is relevant at this current period. So I'll ask you, bro, sa panahon ngayon, anong sector sa tingin mo ang magbo-boom the next 5 years?
I'm still very bullish on AI for one, because fundamentally speaking, not just people, not just like the individuals are investing in it, but like companies are really investing in it. Big businesses are going and saying we want to go bullish on AI. And so, ako kasi mga fundamentals ako when it comes to investing. Like the only investments that did well for us sa PSE is Jollibee Food Corporation. So parang 50%. Bakit? Alam ko na Jollibee is very generational kasi mga bata yung target, 'di ba? So I look at the fundamentals. So for AI, some people say it's a hype. Yes, there is a certain, I do believe na parang may konting bubble, but it's still functional. It's still going to be a part of everyday life for the next 10 to 20 years. Just the way that and again, this is just a prediction, but the same way that the internet changed the way that we work. So the same way that automobiles became, a big, all of a sudden, when automobiles came out, people Or saying, "Uy, wag kasi mawawalan ng trabaho yung mga horse carriage drivers."
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then we are seeing that exactly now,
Mm.
sa AI. But what I like about AI is it's helping the same people to make their jobs easier, you
Yes.
know. Ngayon, pwede ka nang gumamit ng AI to write. You can, come up with, AI, the AI can recognize your speech patterns. It can remember what you previously had typed. But you know what, bro? I want to ask you something because as you can see here, you've told me your story, 10 years ago, right? If you were to meet the same Patrick 10 years ago, right? Dun sa picture na yun, ano yung pinakamalupit na financial tip? Not a financial advice, but a financial tip that you would tell him if you were to meet him.
Siguro yung non-financial muna. Sabihin ko
Oh,
sa kanya,
sige.
magpagupit ka na. No, but that kind of connects to like the financial tip that I want to give. Kasi uh again, quick story. We just came from Hong Kong, 'di ba? Parang Cess and I said, we just want to fly to Hong Kong. Just, parang spontaneous trip. And then kasi when I'm in Hong Kong, bro, one of the things that I do is I go to the really good fade barbers sa ibang bansa now. So like that's one of the non-negotiables for me to try, yung mga talagang artisan barbers na yung maganda yung haircut. That's like in Hong Kong for example, you get a haircut like that. That's 3,500 to 4,000 pesos. So like what? That's like 90 SGD, parang 'di ba? So it's kind of expensive. So like who in the right minds would spend for something like that, 'di ba? Pero you're not paying for the haircut eh. You're paying for what the haircut does for you, 'di ba?
Yes, exactly. But just like
Yeah.
how we are building our businesses, we are building our investment portfolio, not because we want to get that money, right? We always post this on our social media. It's not about the money. It's what the money can do for you and your loved
Exactly.
ones. Diba?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, 'di ba? Like obviously, you wouldn't trust the Patrick Mabilog 10, 15 years ago because gosh, the guy can't even get a good haircut. I kid you not, bro. Like, people look down on me just because I look like that. No, I mean, I'm not saying na kailangan talaga, 'di ba? You dress up and all of. But that's the world we live in. I mean, I always go back to this verse in the Bible where, it says that, man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. Given yan, I mean, yes, God sees that. And I think, a very important to be made is, syempre, mas importante na yung internal work muna, 'di ba? The character, the integrity. Yes, that's given. But that does not mean that you should just forget about the outward appearance. Parang false dichotomy siya eh. When I say that,
Yes.
meaning, kala natin, dapat either or. Dapat maganda yung loob pero yung pangit yung labas. I just don't believe that anymore.
You can
Again, I'm
actually
not
do
saying
both. You can actually.
yeah, you have to do both. I'm not saying that you have to buy luxury brands all the time. I'm not saying that you have to really spend, but it's what it does for you eh. So like if there's one thing actually that I would probably tell the Patrick Mabilog 10, 15 years ago is not to kind of like glow up for the sake of glowing up, no, or like looking good, but it's really investing in yourself. I think that going back again, no? I mean, if there's one thing probably like 10, 15 years, I'm really grateful that I had parents who continue to tell me na, na invest in yourself. Education, alam ko, nag-drop out ka, pero wag, di ba? Then, don't stop learning. That's one thing. But it's also investing in, your network, meeting other people, di ba? Going out. How can you go, like, di ba? Like, if you go out, then you also obviously have to make sure that you can communicate well, that you can walk into a room and with full confidence, knowing that I'm not I'm not an imposter here. I belong in this room. So it's Yung nga, like you said kanina, di ba, na parang some people might see it as yabang. And I think that if I'm really honest, no, I would rather be mayabang, pero alam ko that I can walk into a room of millionaires, billionaires,
Mm.
and play the part, no,
Yes.
and not be intimidated. Versus na low-key, naman, kasi kala natin kasi ng humility is dapat, hindi, tahimik ka lang.
Oh, it's not true. In the
Yeah,
world
that's
of the high net worth, yung tipong
yeah,
kunwari, mga bilyonaryo, pag shit pare, nasiraan yung Rolls Royce ko dun. Bro, may gasgas yung ko, yung patek ko. Yung mga ganun ba? But to them, it's normal. Just like us talking
yeah,
about, yung yung fossil watch ko or yung Seiko watch ko is, may gasgas. To them, it's normal. And hindi sila nagyayabang. Iba lang
correct.
talaga yung yung frequency ng pag-iisip. Like,
Yeah,
nag-post ako sa Facebook, sa YouTube, di ba? One of my posts there, yung dati kong friend who was never an employee, he started business from the start. And to him, it was nothing. And the only thing he said was, I don't know, my family is all business people. Ganun lang. I
yeah,
don't know. Hindi niya alam na the people that surrounded him were all business people. So, to him, ayun yung normal sa buhay. Doon sa mga medyo negative yung mindset or nasa mababang lugar na, they would mistake that as kayabangan. But in fact, it's not. And sila yung mali doon. Kasi they should shift their mindset. You should feel motivated that other people around you are succeeding. And then that should drive you to do even better for yourself.
yeah.
And doing better is very subjective. Ikaw, may
Mm.
sarili kang dream, di ba? Ako, may sarili akong dream na gustong ma-attain. And I could be, maybe ang dream ko, bro, is just to have a complete family and then I just don't have to worry about next month. Maybe yung dream mo is meron kang mansion dyan sa Iloilo na, meron ka na namang mansion dyan, but a bigger mansion dyan sa Iloilo. That could be your dream, But calling yourself successful is subjective. We have our own success. Karamihan kasi sa atin is we would rather compare ourselves. Uy, wow, laki ng bahay niya. Ako, hindi. But little do you know, yung ito, minamax out na pala yung credit card.
Yep.
Hinahabol
Yeah.
na pala ng mga loan shark. You don't know that, right? But ano yung financial tips na sasabihin mo kay Patrick if you meet him? What are the financial tips that you would tell him?
I would probably tell Patrick Mabilog 10, 15 years ago. And again, this might not sound like a financial tip pa rin. Ang weird kasi ano ba yung financial tip? But I would probably tell Patrick Mabilog to just stop caring about what other people think about you. Diba? And no, the reason why I consider it a financial tip is because I talk to and I coach people who also want to get ahead with their business and finance now. And many times I think one of the biggest like prisons, like yung pinaka like limiting belief that a lot of people have, not just Filipinos have, is I want to do this, I want to take a risk, but what will people say if I fail? I want to invest in, a different stock market outside of my country. But what if I lose my money and people will say, because you were so ambitious or because you were so stupid? We don't want to look stupid. We don't want to, we worry so much about what people think about us. And so, because of that, we make financial decisions for others, not for ourselves. Diba?
That is very true, bro. Now, to all our viewers, bro, what message do you have to the global Pinoys that are watching this podcast? Hopefully, tinapos nila to. But we have such interesting conversation today, bro. Especially those yung mga Pilipino na currently they're building up their businesses, in the grind and dreaming to finally have a glow up. Maybe in 10 years time makapag-post sila ng picture na katulad mo, ano yung masasabi mo para sa kanila?
Mag-asawa ka ng maganda para ma-pressure ka na mag-ayos din. No, but kidding aside, I would like to the fellow Filipinos, especially global Filipinos, OFWs, Filipinos with businesses that serve international clientele. I challenge you to continue to widen your horizon. Don't think na malawak na yung network ko or malawak na yung knowledge ko when it comes to other financial markets, other cultures, other business opportunities. There's always something new to learn. So when you widen your horizon, when you continue to realize that the more I know, the more I don't know, you're gonna be unstoppable. You won't even have to worry about, you know, becoming obsolete when time comes na uuwi ka na ng Pinas or magre-retire ka na. If you should invest in anything, invest in your perspective. Not just knowledge perspective. Iba yung knowledge, iba yung perspective. Yung knowledge, information lang yan. For perspective, it's the mental models that really make up your character, who you are. Diba? What are the limiting mindsets that you have to remove? What are the new mindsets that you have to put in? What do you have to unlearn so that you can learn this new thing? And it's gonna build your character. That's definitely ako. I really believe that character is really formed in the fire of being exposed to other people with different perspectives, but it's also gonna form your competence. Like I said earlier, when I started out, I was an expert at nothing. I like to think that now I do have some expertise in certain things, but simply because I I never like stayed in my bubble and said, "Hindi, alam ko na to. Alam ko na to." I went out and said, I'm a noob, no? So I went out and sino yung magaling dito? I want to, I'll pay for their coffee, I'll pay for their coaching session. I want to really absorb as much as I can. So having that, you're gonna be unstoppable.
Wow. Ang galing, bro. Ang galing. Ang galing. Bro, thank you for this conversation. Ang dami mong na-share dito na wisdom, in regards to growth, yung purpose, business, and of course, financial awareness. So, to everyone who is listening, whether you're in Singapore, Dubai, dyan sa Pilipinas, remember this. Being a global Pinoy isn't just about working abroad. It's about thinking global in your career, in your mindset, in your businesses, and how it is, how you build your wealth as well. So, sabi ko, si Patrick nagpo-post to ng mga malulupit na post. Follow him sa Facebook, sa YouTube din, and Block 10 Strategy as well on social media to see how creative excellence and strategy can go hand in hand. I'm also working with them, by the way. And then, if you like this podcast, follow us on YouTube, the Global Pinoy Podcast, and sa Instagram na din, and so as on Facebook. And then me personally, you can find me on Facebook, Rico Desengano, on Instagram as well, and on YouTube, Rico Desengano. Until next time, this is Rico Desengano reminding you success isn't just about how much you earn, it's about how wisely you grow it. Thank you again, Patrick.
Thank you.
All right.